There is one thing I wish I knew sooner when I started my first business, and it has nothing to do with strategy or physical action towards reaching my goals. So this is for my badass queens who have already started their business and you want to do it right, or you're sitting on the fence ready to take that action but holding back for some reason, and this is the exact message you need to hear. When I started my first business, I had no business experience, no degree, but I had a really big passion for what I was doing, which was importing paper products made out of elephant poo and recycled paper, very weird, I know, into Canada and trying to give back to the elephants with every sale. I loved that it was sustainable. I loved that it had mission and purpose behind it. I loved that it was something that felt really close to my heart because I had just worked with elephants at a sanctuary for the past 7 or 8 months. But the one thing I didn't know at the time, and it was not about business strategy, it was not about a normal education. It had to do with the identity and the beliefs I had about myself and the self-image that I had created in my mind. For me, that self-image and that mental story was that I was a university dropout with no business experience, and I was expecting rejection but terrified of it. I also attached so personally to my business that anytime someone said no or something got hard or it didn't work out, I took it as a personal rejection, and it absolutely broke my heart. So as you can imagine, this meant that when things didn't work out, I struggled, I floundered, and then I started to doubt myself and if I was making the biggest mistake ever by trying to make this weird business work. So if you are just starting out, this is what I want you to take away from this. Your identity needs to shift so that you see yourself as someone who is successful. You see yourself as someone who is beyond capable. You see yourself as the woman who has already achieved the goals, and therefore she's not bothered by the little things that go wrong or the few people who don't understand it or the potentially judgmental questions or comments from people on your social media. If you can jump into the future version of you who is 1 year out from now and has already made X number of sales or had X number of clients and feels confident and successful and is loving how she's spending her time, loving her service and her way of showing up, then you have now shifted your beliefs about yourself. You shifted your entire actions and your identity into a future version of you, the version of you who has already had success. And that is what's going to allow you to show up way more confident right now instead of showing up in the identity of the beginner. So the longer you stay in your current identity, which for me was someone who had no idea what they were doing and also still hadn't tapped into entrepreneur mindset, and I was used to being an employee for someone else. So I had all these beliefs, all these conditions, all these normals around how money worked, how sales worked, how I worked, what everything meant about me, and it kept me looping in a place that was very far from my goals. Needless to say, that business did not make it, and I shut down because I was really sad about the lack of growth that I saw or the amount of no's that I was getting, and it felt like every door got closed on me. But I wish I had the resiliency, and I wish I had jumped into the mindset, because then I wouldn't have stayed so passive, I wouldn't have doubted myself so much, and I would have found a way to align and make it happen. And that's what I want for you, because your dreams are way too important to stay stuck in beginner mode or to keep doubting yourself. And if you want help with this, hit me up.